This is the Above Average Podcast, and you are listening because you want an above average life. Alright guys, welcome back to the Above Average Podcast, the podcast where we talk to above average people about their above average lives. My guest today is someone I would describe as an absolutely relentless man. He's a former world record triathlon holder, owner of 3 successful businesses, has raised over £16,000 for the Dragonfly Cancer Trust. He's a badass dad, a top tier husband, and please welcome Mr. Ian Lambert to the show. How are you, mate?
I'm very well, thank you.
I hope that intro did you justice there, mate.
That was a lovely intro, thank you. Thank you very much.
Class, mate. So, just while I get my questions up. So, in a lot of the public speaking talks, I mean, you did one for us at TST, like a couple of years, 3 years ago?
Yeah, it was a couple of years ago, I think, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. So, that was the first time we met. So, in your talks, your story starts roughly around the 2018 mark that you tell it from. So, after a not so amazing holiday in Centre Parks. So that's where we're going to. So tell me about that holiday. Like, what kind of happened with that?
The holiday was okay. It was sort of the end of a period where I got to a point where I just sort of had enough of my own bullshit, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I was way out of shape. I remember when we were in the pool, the Centre Parks had the guy with the camera come round. And he was trying to take like family photo shoots of everybody, and I was just like, no.
Yeah.
You know, when you're just embarrassed and stuff. Boozing all the time. And, yeah, so in Centre Parks, we got to it was on a night time, like an evening. The kids were quite young then. So, my wife was, like, messing around with the kids, trying to, like, changing nappies or doing tea and stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember just thinking, all I want to do is go for a drink. And this was quite a common thing, so...
Yeah.
I basically made this excuse that I had loads of work to do for a construction business that I had at the time. So I said, listen, I've got to go and do some work for this a quote. I think I said I've got to go and do a quote for a job.
Yeah.
So I need to go and get some peace and quiet, and I need to get it done. So I basically left the chalet, made a beeline for the nearest pub in Centre Parks, and I went and sank about 5 or 6 pints as quickly as I could. And I was walking back from the pub, and I was looking at my emails. Somehow I ended up on Paul Mort's email list, and I'd been getting these daily emails.
Yeah.
And this particular email just triggered the shit out of us, really. And I messaged him straight away, and that was in December 2018. Just realised I'd sort of had enough of doing what I was doing.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was during that holiday. So I ended up speaking to Paul in January 2019.
Yeah, which we'll get into as well. So how long up until that point had sort of drinking been a problem for you?
I've always drank, but I think it became a problem throughout my early 30s to mid 30s.
Yeah.
We had kids. Business was hard. I just lost a lot of focus. Wasn't really aiming anywhere.
Yeah.
And drinking just slowly became, and because of the environment I was in, builder, I was actually on the tools and stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of it was like going to the pub after work, sneaking a few pints in, and then Friday you'd have a few more pints.
Yeah.
Obviously all weekend. And then once you've had a few pints in the pub after work, you go home, there's cans in the fridge. So before you know it, you had 4, 5, 6 cans.
Yeah.
It's just on a weeknight.
So one leads to many, doesn't it? It's never just going out for one, is it?
Yeah. So I wouldn't say I wasn't like necking like bottles of vodka
during
the day and stuff, but I was drinking like every single day. And then the drinking would increase on the weekend. So yeah, it was probably like late 20s through my early 30s, mid 30s.
Yeah, it's funny because like obviously I'm 28 now, and a lot of the people that I used to hang out with and stuff, it was all about drinking, all about partying, all about how much can we sink. How as soon as we get to the bar, it's like shots down the neck. You know, how many Jaeger bombs can you handle? Which, by the way, I don't know anyone who actually enjoys Jaeger bombs. I think they're the most disgusting thing in the world.
Vile.
They're absolutely disgusting. Everyone's like, oh yeah, Jaeger bombs. I'm like, absolutely not. I tell you, there's one thing worse than that in Sambuca. That is disgusting.
It is disgusting.
I'd rather have tequila. I know
Oh, no.
tequila's strong, but I'd rather have tequila over something or anything like that. But it's like, it's amazing how that culture is easily seeped into. I know you said you're on the building sites and stuff. Like, I'm guessing all of them was it just one big, like, as soon as you finish, like, let's just go get pissed, yeah, kind of thing, or...
Yeah, so, well, not every day, but, you know, you might end up going for a couple of pints with one person one day, and then the next day somebody else will be like, oh, fancy a pint after work. Yeah, yeah, come on in. It's just once you sort of get involved in that environment, it can quite quickly spiral, I suppose.
Yeah. Did you have any issues when you stopped drinking with those people? Like, did they try and encourage you to come back out at all, or?
So when I had the building company back then, I was on the tools. So I was actually physically doing work with them. I'm not anymore, most of the time anyway. So I've sort of made that, throughout the last sort of 4 or 5 years, I've made a transition between being on the tools to being more of a business owner.
Yeah. Sort of stepping back behind the scenes kind of thing.
So that helped as well. But that was all part of the, you know, when I joined Paul's coaching program, that was all part and parcel of what I learned through that. And no, I haven't had any problems like sort of changing my peer group or environment. I'm still friends with everybody who I used to be friends with.
Which is strange because a lot of people do cut people off when they try and go like cold turkey or whatever, or stop that sort of attitude.
What I've found is I haven't cut anybody off. I've found that people have cut me off.
Oh, interesting.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've had a few people. I've noticed I'm not friends with them on Facebook anymore, and I'm like,
really, yeah.
What's that all about? But
that's funny that you mention that, because just from my own perspective as well, when I started doing a lot more like online stuff with videos and posts and stuff like that, and like a lot of my old sort of friends from school and people I used to go out and stuff just removed me, and I'm guessing it was because maybe my attitude changed, or maybe they just found what I was saying annoying. I don't know.
Yeah, so I've had exactly the same. I've obviously triggered them in some way.
Yeah.
Through trying to make a change.
Well, they say that alcohol is the only drug that if you don't take it, people assume you've got a problem. And I love that line because it sums up society perfectly. It's like, if you say to someone, I don't fancy drink tonight, I'm going to go on the lemonade or the tonic and whatever, and they're like, why? Oh, just have one, you'd be fine. It's not going to harm you. Like, what are you watching your weight or you figure whatever, you look fine, whatever. It's like there's all these excuses. But if you said, I'm probably not going to touch heroin or cocaine tonight, it's probably like, yeah, fair play, mate. That's pretty, do you know what I mean? But alcohol is such a, it's such a, what do they call, like a, not a gateway thing, but it's like it seeps in like in little ways into your life and can sort of ruin it down different paths. Yeah,
so I still have a drink. I still have a drink every now and then, but it's very, I can take it or leave it now.
Yeah.
Whereas before, I was like all about the drink. If we were going to a party, Jill, my wife, she just knew she was going to have to drive.
Yeah.
It was just...
Did you ever have like a conversation about the drink, like how it was affecting you? Did you ever sit down and have that uncomfortable conversation?
I didn't actually know. I just think she used to put up with it.
Just used to be like, that's him, he likes a drink. Yeah.
I was never particularly badly behaved unless I had a lot of drink, but yeah, it was definitely a problem.
Yeah, was she aware of the full extent of it? Like, so obviously, no. Does she know now? I'm assuming how bad it was.
She might if she watches this podcast.
Yeah. Sorry, Jill. I'm just exposing you. You can, by the way, on this, you can talk as much or as little as you want about this stuff.
She doesn't know what a podcast is, so the chances are she probably won't watch the podcast.
A pod what? Sorry, Jill. We're not saying.
I was like, I'm off to do a podcast, and she was like, well, what is a podcast?
Just tell her it's the key to stardom. That's what podcasts are.
So, no, I'm fine. I'll be open about it. I'm all right.
Yeah. So, I'm just curious now, obviously, the relationship with drink now, like, are you ever tempted to go overboard? Is there ever a little voice in the back of your head that says, I could probably have one more?
I've got quite a good handle on drinks, so if we're doing like a works Christmas party or we've got like an event or something, I'll have a good few drinks.
Yeah.
But I can stop after. I can have several drinks and just stop.
Yeah.
It's no problem. In fact, I don't like getting out of control anymore.
Yeah, I'm just curious because a lot of people who have gone through, any sort of substance abuse or used drink or drugs to sort of feel the lifestyle, they look very differently at the people who still do that. So I'm just curious, when you go out to these parties, so you see people getting hammered, you see people, going, let's party, da-da-da. What's your view on those people? Do you feel like, you should stop this because I have? Do you have this self-righteousness, or do you just go, just you do you?
I don't have an opinion. Mm-hmm. I used to want to go and get drunk to the point where I couldn't remember anything, or, you know what I mean, completely out of control. But I can go out now and stop. and I can sit and watch other people get into that state, and I just think it's your choice, but I would never say anything to anybody about it.
Yeah, you're not like one of the people that's like, you shouldn't be drinking.
No, it's not my place. People can do whatever they want.
Yeah. Nice, man. So after all that, you obviously you ended up on the phone with Paul Mort. You got signed up to the coaching program. So what was that first conversation with Paul like? Just because for anyone that's watched this podcast for a while, I know Paul's been on, and he's a character, to say the least. He's an amazing bloke, and we love him. But like, what was that first interaction with him like for you?
So I remember the phone call. I told him a bit of a sob story about my life and stuff, and I remember thinking after the phone call, he was fairly blunt with his air. One of the questions he asked is, he just said, "Well," he listened to what I had to say, and he just said, "Well, what do you want to get handled like right now?"
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, I've just told him this story, and that's basically what he's responded. But then I thought, well, what do I want to get handled? So fitness came out of my mouth, just came out. So I want to get my health and fitness handled, basically. And he said, my mate, you might know him actually, Chris Goodall from South Shields. He runs the boxing club.
Okay, yeah.
He said he's doing a charity boxing event in 3 months' time in March. This was in January.
Nice.
And he said, when are you going to sign up for it? And I was like, thinking in my head, well, I'm not.
Like, say what?
So he said, well, I'm going to give you details. He said, just let us know when you've signed up for it. I was like, right. So,
he didn't give you an out, did he? He was
no,
just like, you signed up for this, yeah.
I got off the phone and I was like, well, I'll message him. So I messaged Chris and signed up for this charity boxing event.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was just like, shit myself straight away. I was like, what have I done here?
Why was his opinion like of you signing up for this? Why did you have so much faith in him that like this was the right thing to do?
I can't remember exactly what he said, but he basically said he thinks that I need to do something. I mean, I need to make like a massive change, like do something.
Yeah.
It's gonna get us out of this pattern that I was in. So yeah, something that's really gonna scare us, I suppose.
Yeah. Did you do anything boxing related in the previously?
No, no. So yeah, it was all new. It was good.
So you were at a point now where you were you training in any sort of fashion at that point?
I was so this position I was in at that very time. Mm-hmm. I remember I signed up for the boxing. I messaged Chris and he sent the details. I think I paid me 50 quid and got the various shirt and stuff.
Yeah.
And I thought, right, and before I go to one of the conditions was when you sign up with the boxing is you've got to go to some of the training sessions, because they've got to find out they've got to make sure that when it comes to the night, you're not going to get your head knocked off.
Yeah.
So he said you need to come to at least 3 sessions a week, do the sparring and all that sort of thing. So I thought I better start doing a little bit of training here.
Yeah.
I think I was about 15.5 stone at the time, which I'm not very tall. I'm like 5'8" at best. So I was carrying quite a lot of like extra timber, and I remember I thought I'd go for a run tonight. So I found some old running shoes, and my street's about 400 yards long. It's a very gradual incline. So I went out my door, ran up the street, and I got to the top of the street. I felt like my back was gonna snap in two. My knees were hurting, my hips were screaming at us, and that was 400 yards of running up the top of the street. So that's the physical condition that I was in at the time.
Yeah. So what other training did you? Obviously, you went to the training classes. How was it when you put the gloves on and you tried it? Like,
it's absolutely terrifying. So I drove there, nerves out. You know, when you got the butterflies and stomach and everything. Turned up, opened the door. It was full of like these fit guys. There was people in the ring sparring. Very nearly turned round, but I decided to just go for it. Yeah, terrifying. Don't know if anybody, if you've sparred before or...
I did karate when I was younger, so I did like a few sparring tournaments and stuff like that, and I've took a few blows to places that are very painful. I've had a few between the legs, which shouldn't have happened, obviously, a few at the nose. But being punched in the face is a very different, it's a unique experience, to say the least.
It is if you've never done it before, yeah.
Had you been punched in the face beforehand?
Yeah. Several times. But I've been drunk most of the time, so I couldn't hardly remember it. But yeah, it was just so for the 3 months I was nervous every single time. Like I went probably minimum 3 times a week.
Yeah.
But yeah, every time I went I was nervous, but I did it, got involved, did the sparring, and then it came to fight night, which was a whole new level of nerves.
Yeah. So tell us what happened with fight night, because there's a funny Paul Moore turned up as well, didn't he?
Yeah. So Paul, who got us into it, was the corner man for the guy who I was fighting. So he was coaching him.
I bet he found that hilarious.
He probably did. I think he does. Yeah. But so fight night turned up. I think it was one of the biggest events they'd ever done. Actually, it was in Rainton Meadows Arena.
Okay. Yeah. Wow.
So it was about 1,000 people in the arena, and yeah, I was physically being sick. I hadn't eaten all day. I couldn't hold anything down, and I just remember Chris, the guy who runs it, he came up. He was like, "Oh, you're on next." I think there was about 8 fights before me, and I just. Yeah, so it was big ring walk. There was like fire coming up through the air.
Wow.
They put a proper show on. It was really good.
What was your entrance music?
Oh, can't remember the name of the song. I could sing it. I'm not going to sing it.
You could sing it if you want, Ian, mate. Go for it.
What's it called? Can't remember the name of the song. Seven Nations.
Oh, Seven Nation Army. Yeah. That's
yeah.
a good one. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, it's quite badass.
So that was on. You got walked down with the ring girls into the ring. Get in the ring, you get your headgear on, get your gloves all checked, and you get your little chat with the referee and stuff. Go back to the corner, and the bell goes. So when you do sparring, I always used to walk the middle of the ring and put my hand out to touch gloves.
No touch gloves, yeah.
Yeah, well, so I did. I thought, well, I'll do that. Whereas my opponent, who'd already done a show before, he just came in and just lumped a big right hand and
well,
bust my nose all over my face. It was blood everywhere. It was in my eyes. It was streaming down my chest.
Jesus.
Did a proper job on my nose. So
did you go down as well, or were you just kind of like
no?
dazed?
Just knocked us back. I had to stop it and clean us up. And they said, "Are you wanting to carry on?" I was like, "Yeah, definitely."
It's charity, of course I am. Yeah.
So I carried on. I ended up winning the fight.
Nice.
But
did he leave in worse shape than you did?
no, I was. I think I just won on points, but no, it was a scary but amazing experience, and I did something that I thought I could never do.
How much weight had you lost at that point?
I was still heavy even at the fight, but I'd lost a good couple of stone throughout the 3 months.
I'm just curious, how did you feel between obviously the start of that 3 months and then the end of the 3 months?
Amazing. Because the end goal was that fight in front of like friends and family and however many other people there.
Yeah.
That like really got us going. I was like, I need to put some serious effort in here. I think I stopped the drink. Obviously training every day. And yeah, I dropped about 2.5 stone.
Nice.
Felt amazing.
Yeah, were the kids there to watch you, or were they not allowed in?
No, they were too little.
So, what did your wife say when she was like seeing you
My
beating people?
wife didn't even come, I don't think.
Oh really? Okay. Was you looking
She
after?
was looking after the kids, but I didn't
Fair
think
enough.
she wanted to see it anyway. But
See you getting beaten up. You never know. You might put her through hell. She was like enjoying it. Like, yeah, get beaten up again.
I would do it again, to be honest. Like, but
Yeah. So obviously after that, you went from the charity box match to then triathlon stuff. Is that correct?
I did. I thought, what can I do to try and challenge myself again, which doesn't involve getting my nose broke. So.
So, but it's quite a big jump from, you didn't just run a marathon. It's not a marathon. You didn't just go and do like the Great North Run or something. You did a triathlon, which is a whole new level of fitness.
Yeah, well, I spoke to my mate. I was like, listen, have you got any ideas what to do for a fitness challenge? He said, well, have you ever thought about an Ironman? I said, well, like, what's an Ironman? So he's explained it was a 2.4 mile swim and then a 112 mile bike ride and then a full marathon. He was like, it's an Ironman triathlon. And I was like, well, how many days do you get to do that? And he was like, well, you don't get days, you get like 16 hours to do it. And I couldn't get my head around it. I was like, I said, but they must do smaller triathlons. He said, yeah, do like shorter ones and sprint ones and middle distance and stuff like that. So I signed up for a standard distance. So it was like a 1.2 mile swim, 26 mile bike ride, and then a 6 mile run.
Wow.
So it was still a hefty chunk exercise.
Yeah, 100%.
But I sort of signed up for that. I give myself another 3 months to train for that. So same sort of thing. It scared us a bit. I couldn't really swim. I could swim, but I couldn't. I think I could swim one into the pool or something like that.
Yeah.
If I was lucky. Running was still shocking. Didn't even own a bike. Had to go and try and bought a bike off Facebook Marketplace.
Nice.
So, yeah, I got going with the triathlon. Signed up, and then I did that one. That was like the hardest thing I'd ever done at that point.
Yeah.
Took us about 3 hours. I thought I was gonna just collapse and die.
Yeah.
But,
what was the training like beforehand? So obviously you just come off this boxing match, you've signed up for this triathlon. Like, obviously you go buy the bike, whatever, you practice swimming. Like, what's your mentality like at that point, and what's your lifestyle like around it?
Lifestyle was much better. I'd pretty much stopped drinking.
Yeah.
I probably wasn't teetotal, but I'd cut it right back all the week drinking during the week. I was obviously losing a little bit of weight and feeling much better about myself.
Yeah.
I was still just blagging the training though. I didn't have any sort of structure.
No PTs or anything like that?
Never done a triathlon before. Didn't have a PT. All I knew was that I had to swim, cycle, and then run. So I thought, well, if I do a bit of everything,
something's going to happen. Yeah, I'm going to feel at least a little bit better about
so
it.
There's
Yeah.
no structure there as such. I didn't have a fitness coach or anything.
Yeah.
I just.
Why though? Why
went
not
with the
get?
flow.
Why not get a PT? Why not get someone to help you with that though?
Well, I did eventually.
Right.
But after I'd done that triathlon, I then thought, well, I've done that. I might have a look at this Ironman thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually signed up for an Ironman after doing that. And I still didn't get a triathlon coach. So I signed up for an Ironman, and I just thought, well, I'll just do the same again, but I'll just do a bit more training. So.
Did you end up with many injuries? I'm just curious. Like
yeah.
Obviously with all that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was injured all the time.
What kind of injuries did you
That's
get?
what happens when you got no structure or strategy.
Fair enough. Yeah. Was it like
Yeah.
a mix of like obviously your cardio training? Was there strength training involved as well?
I was just doing a bit of everything. I was pulling my calves all the time. Yeah, it was just, like I say, there wasn't really much. I probably at the time thought, well, I've got structure here because I had way more structure than what I had ever had before.
Yeah.
With fitness, but yeah, there was no real plan. It was just I had this sort of new confidence because I'd done the boxing and I'd done another triathlon.
Yeah.
I just thought I'm gonna carry. I've got like a bit of a formula here, which seems to be working. So I'll just carry on doing it.
Where do you think that confidence came from? What exactly do you pinpoint at that as the moment that you became more confident?
When I did the boxing, built a lot of confidence. It was doing something that going into the unknown, doing something that I didn't think I was capable of, actually following the process and then actually achieving it. That's where you build confidence.
Yeah. What do you think stopped you from quitting when it was painful? When you've got all these injuries, when you're like, oh, I'm tired. Like, what do you think it was that stopped you from quitting?
Accountability, probably.
From
I always used to one of the things that I do now is I always sign up with a charity. It's always the same charity now because I've actually became a trustee of that charity.
Is that the Dragonfly?
Yeah, the Dragonfly Cancer Trust. So I always sign up for a charity. So I always try and raise money. I tell everybody, put it on Facebook and all that sort of stuff. So I've got quite a high level of. Even back then, I had quite a decent level of accountability. So it's hard to quit when you've given yourself a high level of accountability.
Yeah, I think that's where most people go wrong, and that's why I wanted to hop on it. Why didn't you quit? Is because I think a lot of people, they try and do it all themselves.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you are accountable to somebody else,
yeah,
or someone else has got skin in the game, you are way more likely to stick it out. Like, that's why I asked about PT. Like, if you've got a PT, you've got someone to turn up to report to send details to, who's going to be asking, where are you? Why are you not here? Like, I think that's what, probably for me, the number one reason why most people don't get anywhere.
100%. I've got a coach now who's specifically for me fitness challenges, and that's for me. That's just another layer of accountability. So I like to look at it as like layers of accountability.
Yeah.
You could go into, if you wanted to sign up for a marathon, you could maybe tell your wife that you're going to sign up for a marathon. How much accountability is that going to give you? Is she going to let you off the hook?
Yeah.
Do you know, as soon as you come in and say, oh, it's really hard, is she going to be like, oh, don't worry about it?
Yeah.
So that could be like one layer, and then your next layer might be you sign up for a charity and you start raising money for them.
Yeah.
Then people have given you money, people have donated to you, you've told the charity. So that could be another layer. You could add another layer on top if you've got a coach, whatever. But I'm a big believer in you've got to give yourself the highest level of accountability that where you personally, you know, it's going to keep you going when you want to stop.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. So the Ironman, I have down here that you did a double Ironman. No.
I did a single Ironman.
Mm-hmm.
The double Ironman was another guy who I watched a documentary. He did a double Ironman.
Right, okay, that's where I got confused.
That inspired me to do an even bigger challenge after I'd done the Ironman.
Right, okay. So
yeah.
the Ironman itself, right? Like, how much mental and physical exertion did you go through during that?
So the Ironman, the actual event that I signed up for got cancelled because it was during COVID.
That's right, yeah. Sorry, I'm back on track now. So you you decided to just do it anyway.
It got cancelled halfway through the training plan that I'd set out for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, well, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
Because I'd raised money it was a different charity back then. I think I just signed up for cancer research. But I thought, well, people have donated. So on the day that the event was supposed to happen,
mm-hmm.
I thought I'll do my own Ironman anyway, on my own.
That's a new level of relentlessness, that, isn't it?
So I went and swam in colour coats.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
So I rocked up 5 o'clock in the morning. My dad said he'll come with us because he was worried about us. Fair
I would be as well if I was like, I know this got cancelled and we're in the middle of a lockdown, but I'm still going to go do this.
Yeah, so I remember 5 o'clock in the morning, rocked up at Colour Coats Beach, got my wetsuit on, got in the sea, swam the 2.4 mile in the sea, and then I got out and I did a massive loop around the whole of the northeast on my bike. And yeah, there was tears. There was, I don't know, it was horrible. It was horrendous. I for some reason, I picked a really hilly route. I hadn't even thought about it.
To be fair, that doesn't surprise. Hearing this story doesn't surprise me that you would pick the hardest route to go through as well.
Never even entered my head when I picked the route. I just went on Strava and made like a route. And I was like, yeah, that's 112 mile.
That'll do.
But when I started, I was like, oh, it's quite a lot of hills, and this is horrendous.
Jesus, did you have like headphones and stuff with you as well, or?
Yeah.
I was gonna say I couldn't do that just from mentally. So
I love listening to music,
mm-hmm.
or I'll stick a podcast on, and then I'll finish that and I'll do some music and a podcast.
Yeah. I'm just curious, is there a particular song that when you're training for anything that comes on and you're like, right, it's go time?
No, I love like dance and something with like a good beat to it.
I think for me, one of the things that got me through when I used to do a lot of rowing, not like just rowing machines, I mean, and the one song that always got me through, that always made me pick up pace, was Kanye West, Black Skinhead.
Oh, right.
You'd know it if you heard it, but that would come on the gym like, right, it's go time, let's go, you know. And yeah. I'll use that in every workout. If I'm struggling, I'm like, right, where's Kanye West?
No, I haven't got a particular song. Just anything with like a good sort of a good beat to it. But yeah, I did the bike, and then I did a full marathon afterwards. I think I ran to Blythe and back. That was a marathon.
And what sort of physical shape were you in by the time you finished all that?
I was in by that time. I was in good physical shape. I really got myself into good shape by then.
Did you notice what's changed in the sort of the lifestyle around you? Like, what else had changed because you got into a better fitness state, I would say?
My peer group had completely changed, because before lockdown I'd started going to swimming clubs. I'd been going to bike clubs, running clubs. So I'd met new people, and when you start hanging around with people who go to those sort of places, and you mention that you're doing Ironmans and stuff, they don't bat an eyelid,
which is strange, isn't it?
Yeah, and you think, well, so it's just another sort of, you sort of hit like another level, I suppose, but it's just a different environment, a different group of people, and yeah, you get involved in that sort of culture, I suppose, where nobody bats an eyelid if you're doing an Ironman. There's, ultra marathons, whatever. Yeah,
it's crazy. I think I said this on the last episode as well. It's about finding those people that like really like. I said this: if I stopped doing this, all my friends would be like, "Why have you stopped?"
Yeah.
It wouldn't be a case of, "Oh well, you tried." It would be a case of, "Why did you stop?" And how can we help you get back on track with it? You know what I mean? And that's what I love about when you level up your peer group. And it sounds harsh, doesn't it? It sounds like we're saying like these people are, discarded or thrown away. And it's not. That's not the case. It's just the people that you move into circles with because you've sort of leveled up your mentality, your attitude. The people that you meet are all like way more supportive because they've know what's probably going on more in your head than these people that are sort of trying to bring you back down to their level.
They do, 100%. And you can go with them with problems, niggles, you're struggling with whatever, and they'll just help you through it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas some people would just be like, it's all right, doesn't matter, just don't do it.
Yeah.
But
Excuse me.
But yeah, your whole life sort of just think things change slowly. But
I'm just curious with getting fitter and in better shape and obviously better mentally. How did it affect the relationship with your kids and your wife?
oh, much better. Yeah, energy was much better.
Mm-hmm.
My biggest thing before I started up with all this was low energy.
Yeah.
I mean, I still have the occasional mood swing and stuff, but yeah, low mood, low energy.
Yeah.
Really bad. But energy is massive, especially when you've got young kids, because they are bundles of energy.
Oh yeah,
and it
100%.
requires a lot of energy.
Yeah, that's why I can't understand. Like, obviously, I'm not a dad yet, and I can say this now when I'm not a dad and be like, well, I want to have the more energy than my kids, or I want to at least match it to some degree, where like we're both at the end of the day wrecked, but I haven't been lazy with it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm saying this now. When I have kids, I might just be like, I just need a break. I just need to be low energy for a bit.
It's hard work because when they're young, they don't sleep, and then that affects you.
Yeah,
and can affect your relationship and stuff like that. So it is hard, but.
Yeah, because obviously you run all these businesses as well. Like, did you run as many businesses back then?
No, I just had a construction business, which is no more. Had it with an old business partner of mine.
So what's crazy is that you ran this, you're doing all this training, you've got a wife and 2 kids to take care of, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, how on earth did you find time for everything?
So delegation's massive. So I've got a team of people around us. Got obviously staff. I don't like to call them staff. I just like to call them like the team.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got a team who work with us, and just having a really good sort of structure around your diary and scheduling. A lot of the stuff, if I'm doing longer sessions, I'll get up like mega early and go and do them.
Yeah.
So I can still have the day at work or with the kids.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just planning, scheduling. Me and Jill have got a shared diary, so she generally knows what I'm doing, where I'm at.
I like that. Yeah.
If I've got, something big to do, it's scheduled. It's in the diary.
Yeah, I'm just curious about your relationship advice. This is like you teaching guys and and women who are listening how to manage their relationships better. But also,
I'm not perfect, by the way, with relationships. But
no, who is though, mate? Who is?
A shared diary is a great tip.
Mm-hmm.
Once we started doing that, it solves a lot of problems because you know where each other's at.
Yeah.
And the further ahead you can get with that diary and schedule, the better.
Less overwhelm, less like, oh, you said you would do this and you haven't. Yeah.
We try and plan as much in for the whole year as possible.
Nice.
So we know when the holidays are. We know if I'm away. We know if I'm at the quarterly events, whatever.
Yeah, nice, man.
The podcast was in, so she knew I was at a podcast, even
but didn't know what it was. Do you think you're gonna tell her to listen to this one afterwards?
Yeah, I might do. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. It's like not a chance.
I will.
So tell me about your world record attempt. So tell me how that started.
Yeah, so I did the Ironman, which was really tough. And then I watched a documentary on YouTube about a guy who did a double Ironman.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy, so I know this guy quite well now. I do some of his programs as well.
Yeah.
And he's called Steve Green, so he runs a property training business. And I just watched a documentary, and I seen him doing this double Ironman.
Yeah.
Took him about 30 odd hours. It might have been 40 hours actually. And I just remember thinking, well, he runs businesses. He's not like a professional athlete. He's got a family and all that sort of stuff. So if he can do it, maybe I can do something a bit bigger.
Yeah.
So I started looking into a few things, and I thought, I'll do like a monster triathlon. So I just created.
That just sounds torturous.
So I created this triathlon. It was I didn't realise it was a world record at the time.
Mm-hmm. Somebody
just said that might be a world record, and I went on the Guinness website, and there was actually one there, and it was bigger. So I registered it with Guinness. They came back and said, yeah, we're happy for it to be a world record attempt.
Nice.
So the actual triathlon itself was a 7-mile swim, and then a 170-mile bike ride, and followed by a 43-mile run. And the rules of the triathlon were you weren't allowed to have any more than a 5-minute break,
Yeah.
which includes your transition. So when you transition from the swim to the bike and the bike to the run, you've got 5 minutes to get your swim kit off, get your bike kit on, and get away again.
Jesus.
So you have to do it. So it's a continuous event.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it'd be a good idea to do the swim in Ullswater in the Lake District.
Right.
So a big long lake. It's about 7 mile long, and so I thought, well, that goes well with the distance. And I'll cycle from the end of Ullswater to Hexham, but I would have to do a few loops in between because it's 170 miles is further than that distance.
Right. Okay. So you had to go back on yourself and.
Yeah, we'll have to do some loops in the end. Again, the bike route was hilly as out. Chose a really bad route.
Mate, you made none of this easy for yourself, did you?
Yeah, it was horrendous. And then I ran from Hexham, followed the River Tyne, and I finished in Tynemouth, 43 mile. So that was that event. So again, it was my own event. I knew I was going to do it on my own.
Mm-hmm.
Set the date. That's when I realised I needed a coach.
Mm.
So that's when I found this coach. It was the same coach who coached Steve Green to do his double Ironman.
Mm.
So I brought him on board, and between us we formulated a plan, strategy for all the training, and then a strategy for the actual event as well.
Yeah.
Which didn't quite go to plan, but at least I had like a proper structure to my training then.
Yeah. What do you mean it didn't go to plan exactly?
So the event was the first part of the event was a swim. So because I didn't think too much about it. Again, I started about 4:30 in the morning. So I started at one end of the Lake Ullswater. So I got in the water, it was pitch black. So it was literally just me and my dad again, who's my dad's like a one-man band support crew.
Nice.
So anything I do, he's like, I'll support you.
Shout out to Ian's dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had a rowing boat and me in the water.
Nice.
And no light. So I set off in the pitch black, and obviously it's in the middle of the Lake District. There's absolutely no light.
Yeah, Jesus.
So my dad was like, "Where do you think? How are we gonna know what direction we're going in?" I was thinking, yes, that's a good question. Actually.
I love this whole time I was just constantly winging these things, but somehow managing to make it cool.
I was panicking a bit. I was like, "I've got this massive triathlon to do, and I don't know." I said, "Well, the pier. So there's like a pier there." I said, "The pier's there."
Yeah.
I said, "So I know, because I've done the swim before." I said, "I know we've just got to go in that direction off to the left." So he's like, "Right, okay, let's just try it then." So I set off, and I think I swam for about an hour and a bit. And I remember the light it came up. It started getting light by then, and I remember looking up. I could still see the pier. I was actually facing towards the pier where I started, and I was like, "I can't believe this. I've just basically swam in a circle
for an hour,
like an hour and a bit, which
Brilliant.
was the equivalent of about 2 mile."
Oh.
And I was thinking, so I like blew up. I lost my head, and yeah, I was like, I've swam for like an hour and whatever. I've still got best part of 7 miles to swim. Yeah, it's totally exploded. And it was my dad who calmed us down. He basically just said, you're gonna have to accept where you are.
Yeah.
And it was a good sort of lesson to be fair. I think acceptance is important when something doesn't quite go to plan.
Yeah.
And then we just followed my strategy, which is another really good lesson as well. Just you need to have a strategy, because when you go off track, like, how do you get back on track if you haven't got a strategy? So the swim strategy was swim for 45 minutes, have a quick bite to eat, banana or whatever, and then swim again, because I knew I could swim for 45 minutes, so I just had to chunk it all down in 45-minute stages. So yeah, we just cracked on, got back with a strategy, and swim ended up being 9.5 miles instead of 7.
Wow.
So finished the swim, and then jumped on the bike and carried on.
I'm amazed by the mentality that would take, because like, I've trained for a good number of years now, and when for example, I'm on doing a shoulder press or something, my shoulder starts to really hurt or something like that, or I'm like restruggling my last rep, I'd be like, that was good enough, right? And I'm like, for you though, like swimming 9 miles, like you've got all these aches and pains. Like, how on earth do you just push through that? Like, is there a specific thing that you think about, or is there something that you just like, I need to do this, I need to do this? Like, what is in your head?
The structure. So, for me, I need to chunk it down. So all I thought about on that swim after I'd got through the initial blip was I just need to swim for 45 minutes.
Oh, okay, so you were breaking this, right.
Yeah, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that was comfortable for us.
Yeah.
Aches and pains, I can cope with aches and pains. I understand now that they generally come and go.
Mm-hmm.
All the events I've done, I've getting aches and pains in various different places, but they sort of just come in waves, and then something else will start aching. So it's just about accepting that's going to happen. But the way I get through like a long event is just chunking it down.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you might need to break it down even a bit further. So if that 45 minutes swim phase was getting tough, maybe just say, right, well, I'm going to swim for 30 minutes now. Then we'll stop. We'll have a quick chat.
Right. Yeah.
Reset. Go again. So yeah, having a strategy in whatever you're doing is really important.
Yeah. No. So how do they judge a world record? Like, obviously, did they follow you this whole time? Like, did they put like a black box on you? Like, what did they do?
Well, I have my GPS watch.
Mm-hmm.
They just wanted all the GPS data from the watch. They wanted as much video footage as possible, photographs, and they wanted a journal signed by independent people to say that they'd witnessed that I'd done what I'd done.
Who signed that journal, and who did you get?
I had a couple of different people there. We had a guy from a running club who was in the Lake District, who I know, who signed the swim journal. My coach signed a couple of them, and then so just that's what they wanted. The best way of doing it is to pay Guinness to come out.
Yeah.
With an adjudicator.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking some guys just following you with like a stopwatch and like a map. You know,
it's a lot of money though. It's thousands and thousands of pounds. So
you did it sort of like
yeah.
That's the smarter way.
Yeah. So we finished the swim, then we got on the bike. Did 170 mile on the bike.
Mm-hmm.
That was really tough, really hilly. Did it pretty much all on my own. Had a little bit of company for about an hour. But yeah, apart from that, I was on my own.
Who kept you company for that hour?
Some guy I knew just turned up randomly.
Brilliant. He was like, "Yo, I mate, what are you doing? I'm just in the middle of a massive triathlon now."
It was amazing, actually. I was really down in the dumps, and he just rocked up beside us and pulled us through.
Appeared when you needed him. Nice.
Yeah, finished the bike, and then we did the run. So my coach, who, there's two coaches, there's Damien and Ronnie. Mm-hmm. They both turned up for the run, and Damien actually did the run on his bike alongside us. So 43 mile. So pretty much all. The first part of it was all through the night.
Yeah.
So I've been going since 5 o'clock in the morning. I'd done the swim. I'd done the bike. I think the bike took us till 1 o'clock in the morning, like on the night time, and then I started the run. So I ran. Damien did all the way through. Damien did the whole lot with us.
What a lad! What a lad!
Wasn't plain sail neither. It was pretty horrific.
The whole thing sounds horrific, mate. I'm not gonna lie. The more you talk about it, the more I'm like, damn.
But the run, I got the shits basically.
Wow.
Halfway through, like real bad.
Oof.
Couldn't go like a minute without having to dive into a bush. Luckily it was during the night. And yeah, I got to a point where I felt like it sapped everything out of us, like everything.
It's just massively inconvenient, isn't it?
Very inconvenient, yeah. But yeah, we got to a point where I just said to Damien, I was like I'm done here. I think I'd done about a marathon, so I had about 20 miles to go. Bear in mind what I'd already done as well. And he just said the same. He said, you've got to... Can you run for 5 minutes? And I was like, yeah. He said, you've got to we'll just run for 5 minutes, then we'll walk for a minute, then we'll run for 5 minutes. He said, just chunk it down. And that's what we did. And eventually it cleared up and we got the run done, but I had to do the same process.
I would have. That would have been another time where if I was you, I would have hit the roof. When I felt that coming on, I would have been like, "Oh, you taking the fucking piss here?" Like, I would have been fuming. Did you when you were going through that at that time when you got 20 miles to go? Did you think like, you know, I'm not gonna be able to do this world record?
I said that to him. I was like, I can't do another 20 miles. I can't do another 20 miles physically. And that's when he said, you need to forget about the 20 miles. It's too big. It's too much to think about. It's overwhelming. Just 5 minutes. Can you run for 5 minutes? That's how we split it down.
Nice.
And we did that for the rest of the run.
And when you finished, how did you feel?
Amazing. I got a burst of energy about 5 kilometers from the end. I ran the whole lot as if I was brand new.
Like a bit of adrenaline hit you.
Yeah. So it's amazing what the body can do when you think like you've been done.
Yeah.
5 hours previous. It's
funny that you say that because I've just had a flashback to one of my old teachers in PE, Mr. Stevenson. We were doing like laps of the school field. We were a sports college that I went to.
Yeah.
Not that I'm a sporty dude at all, but we had this like big track thing, and he was getting to do like loads of laps, like an hour basically. And I remember I was like one of the last ones to finish, and he was like shouting at me to like hurry up, and I was like, I got angry at him for like a second because he wouldn't shut up, and I like sprinted the last like 200 yards or whatever it was, and proper just went all out, and wasn't even breathing heavy at the end. And he was like, if you can do that to the end, where was that energy going round? Why are you last? And I remember thinking like, oh yeah. Like, maybe I do have a little bit more inside that I could have pushed a bit more. Like, I was just sort of saving this up for no reason.
100%. I mean, David Goggins talks about it all the time, doesn't he? The 40% rule. When you think you're done, you're only 40% of the way through.
Yeah.
Probably not far off the mark, I think.
Yeah. What do you think of Goggins, just as a side note? Do you listen to much of his stuff?
Yeah, I quite like him.
Yeah, I find him very, very intense. I think I think he's got a lot of good things, but I could not live the way he does.
No, he's too intense.
Yeah,
I get it, but not every day.
Yeah,
I don't think you have to put yourself through
hell, essentially.
Yeah.
So why aren't you doing triathlons every single day? Why do you not get up at 3 o'clock and do triathlons, man?
I do. I am very passionate about it. That's the thing, and although these events are hard at the time, I'll go through an event like that and think, this is definitely the last time I'm ever doing anything like this.
Yeah.
And as soon as I'm finished, I'm thinking, what can I do next?
I like that mentality though. I like that mentality. Is that something that you had when you were younger? Like,
I was sporty. I was sporty when I was younger.
I more mean like the sort of like what's next kind of mentality.
No, I was always possibly in a way, yeah.
Like what's the next shiny object kind of thing?
I don't know if I've got shiny object syndrome. It's probably just came about more so when I started back in 2019 with the boxing. I just thought, well, that worked, so I always like to have a goal.
Yeah.
Whether it's in everything, fitness, finance, family, fun. I've got goals in all areas. And once I've either achieved them or sometimes I fail them, I like to set another goal. So for me, it's just a case of keeping the momentum going. Because I think momentum and consistency is like...
consistency is king. I think people try and do things so intensely.
Yeah.
And they'll go all out, balls to the wall, they'll just...
Yeah, I see that all the time as well.
Yeah, they'll really burn themselves out, and then they wonder why they can't stick to anything. And it's like, well, if you just did the little things consistently, consistency is king. It'll beat intensity every single time without fail.
100%. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to go like what you say, balls out. You just have to keep going. Yeah,
even if we were talking about this the other day, me and Luke, and we're saying like, there's a lot of people do like they'll start a diet or a fitness program or whatever, and they'll do Monday tick, Tuesday tick, Wednesday tick, and then they'll mess it up on Thursday and go, oh well, fuck Friday, fuck Saturday, fuck Sunday, start again Monday, and it's like, well, you've got 4 days where you could still be on it and do something.
Yeah.
But then it's like that leads to a downward spiral of then whatever that excuse was that stopped you on that Thursday is going to be there the next week and the next week and the next week. It's like, just because you messed up one day or you missed a day or whatever, get on the next day.
Yeah.
It's like the most important meal is the next one. The most important workout, next one. The most important run, next one. It's like, it's not about the one that you missed. It's like, what's the next one?
Yeah, you're right. And I think, so for me, I've got to have every piece of the puzzle in place because that all helps with consistency. So I need to have a goal. I need to be, aiming for something. I've got to have my accountability in place. Got to have a strategy. And when I've got everything in place, that just helps with that. That makes me consistent.
Yeah. Right, so
like
what do you say? Goal, accountability, and strategy. Are they
I
the
always
main
have a
three?
strategy, always have a goal, and I've always got a high level of accountability. Everything that I do.
Class, man. So when you passed that finish line with the world record and stuff, and did they tell you straight away? Like, how long did you have to wait to find out whether you did it?
No, they're a bit of a nightmare. Unless you pay the premium price,
Right.
they take forever to get back to you. So you just go online and submit all your data, and then they basically didn't get back to us.
For how long?
I can't remember. But Steve Green, the guy who did the double Ironman, he messaged us about 6 to 8 months later saying, I'm going to try and beat your world record. Would you like to be involved?
Yeah, this is coming up my next question, yeah.
I was like, yeah, 100%. I love it.
So you beat a world record.
Yeah.
And then less than a year later, you helped someone else beat that record.
Yeah, I can't remember the time, but it was about a year later, say. Maybe it's a bit less.
But why? Why not keep it, Ian? Why not be like, no, it's mine?
Anybody trying to do things like that, I'm all in favour. I don't care if it's like my record or... And he would be exactly the same if I said I'm going to try and beat it again.
Do you think you will?
Possibly, yeah.
Steve, there's a challenge coming on, Steve.
Well, Steve doesn't actually have it anymore. Somebody beat
him. Oh,
yeah,
right, wow.
That. And I went and supported them as well.
You're just helping everyone beat this record.
I'm just helping, yeah.
Yeah.
Then
So
I'm gonna go and
it's like, if it's not my record, I'm gonna be involved in it in some capacity. Yeah.
But yeah, he said, "Do you want to be involved?" And I said, "Yeah, 100%. I'll be involved with that." Yeah.
Nice.
So I went and helped him. I did the full swim with him. Because I know the swim is quite a lonely place to be.
Yeah.
I did the swim on my own. Being in the water for that length of time, just looking down the black water, is not nice.
Yeah.
I did quite a lot of the bike with him. I did quite a lot of the run with him, and he really appreciated it. He in return, he's really helped me with some things as well.
Nice. I like that camaraderie. It's what we were saying before, like people who don't want to pull you back down and stop you. It's like they want to lift you back up.
100%. Yeah, I'm a big believer. The more you give, the more you'll get. Might not come back straight away, but it always comes back. So yeah, I went and supported him. Had a really good day, and he broke the world record. And then a guy who works for him, Steve, actually encouraged him to attempt to break his world record the year after, and I went and helped with that as well.
Wow, you're all gonna have to have this club of like, yeah, we're all the same world record. Do you all have like a WhatsApp group as well?
No, not yet.
World record holders. Love it. So I had it down as in you did a 1,000-mile triathlon.
I did, yeah. Now
hearing the words 1,000-mile, like it makes me clench up because that just sounds awful, right? Like, I don't even think my car's done 1,000 miles. You know what I mean? So, I'm like, how do you physically do something like that? That's crazy.
I think that was the hardest thing I've ever done.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I absolutely loved it. So I set the goal to do a 1,000-mile triathlon. I wanted to be a bit of an adventure as well.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to start at the top of Great Britain and work my way down to the bottom of Great Britain.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like a point-to-point thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was hard to train for because how do you train to do
for that length of time? Yeah.
Yeah. So the same thing. We just had to be really consistent with the training. We had to do something every day, just to get the body used to doing physical exercise every day. We had to build up the distances, and yeah. But we formulated this strategy for the training plan. I followed it, not 100%, but same thing, consistently. And then what we did was me and my mate hired a van, drove up to the top of Scotland, a place called Loch Sheen, and I just started swimming one day. So Loch Sheen's a huge loch in Scotland. It's about 18 mile long, I think.
Yeah.
So I went and swam in there for 3 days in a row. Swam 30 miles. my mate did a bit of swim with us as well. Did quite a bit of swim with us. And then on day 4, hopped on the bike, and I cycled from the bottom of Loch Shin. The bike was the worst part. Loads of problems on the bike. But I cycled the full length of the country from the top of Scotland, and I finished down in just south of Bristol in
Jesus.
6 days.
Well, I had it down here. You correct me if I'm wrong. It was 30-mile swim, 870-mile bike ride, and 100-mile run.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, in 12 days
Wow.
it took us. It was long days. But I had loads of mechanicals on the bike. Broke my first bike. Had to borrow a bike off a mate. My dad had to drive it up for us to wherever I was, somewhere in Scotland.
Yeah.
I brought that bike.
But it's just what gets me is I called you relentless, but you're also extremely resilient. There's just like you remind me of that. You know, have you seen Terminator 2?
No, I haven't.
You haven't seen Terminator 2?
I might have seen it
Bro.
years ago.
Yeah, Terminator 2 is amazing. But anyway, bad guy robot. He's made of like this gooey metal, right? And there's just a scene where he's just taking bullet after bullet after bullet because he's a robot, right? That's what you remind me of, mate. You are basically a
You probably
Terminator.
just described the first 4 days of the bike.
Just getting shot at constantly.
The bike didn't. So it was an 8-mile bike ride from where I started to the point where I had made this. So in theory, I cycled 878 miles because it was an 8-mile bike ride from the start point where I had passed the start point.
Yeah.
And the night before, my mate Martin, I was like, "What's the weather like tomorrow?" And he was like, "Oh, it's fine. It's all right." I got up in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. So the wind was like, it was like gale force wind.
Jesus.
The rain was coming in sideways.
Yay, Scotland.
And I was like, I can't believe this. And it was a headwind, so it took us about an hour and 20 minutes to get to the start point on the bike. By which point I'd got loads of grit and stuff in my gears. So my gears had stopped working. And I was all I was thinking about was I haven't even started this 870-mile ride yet.
Yeah.
The bike's knackered. And I'm not even at the start point yet. And I'm absolutely drenched.
Fuck.
So we carried on, and I seen this guy on the side of the road, and he had his bike upside down, and he was trying to sort something out. So I stopped. I said, are you alright? Do you want a hand with out? And he said, I burst my tyre, I'm trying to get my tyre on. So I give him a hand. And I said, actually, my bike's, I said, the gears have stopped working. And he said, oh, I own a bike shop. It's about 5 miles down the road.
Wow.
He was like, I'll sort it out for you. And I was like, amazing. So I cycled there. He sorted my gears out. He said, there is something wrong with your gears at the back. He said, but they're full of grit and stuff. So he cleaned them out. And so that was a bit of a struggle. Look, this is like right at the very start of the cycle.
That's some insane level of karma, though, isn't it? Like you
know.
just happen to help a guy with it. You stopped
That's
when,
what-
and on like the worst timing possible. You decided to help someone, and then I own a bike shop.
I know.
That's some
amazing.
fantasy story shit. That.
So a few hours later, the sun came out as well. My bike was fixed, and I was thinking, oh, this is great. A few hours later, I was cycling down like this mountain path, and went too fast around the corner and ended up going over the handlebars.
Shit.
So busted my elbow, and I hurt my hip, and I also busted the bike.
Oh.
So I completely ruined the gears.
Yeah.
So I had to finish the day 1 on a broken bike, with a bust elbow and bust hip. Stayed the night in a place called Pitlochry up in Scotland, and I had to cycle most of day 2 with me bike, sort of without many gears. Bear in mind it was extremely hilly, and I fell off the bike again, came down a hill, slipped, fell off the bike, and I hurt my other elbow.
Oh mate, you are literally the Terminator at this point. Like, you are taking bullet after bullet.
So my coach was saying I've never known anybody get like this much bad luck on a bike. I was like, I know, I just can't believe it.
Yeah.
Day 3, my dad managed to drive up with a new bike, and so I finished day 3. Day 4, the gear cable snapped on the new bike.
Oh, again, it's just one
And,
thing after another, isn't it?
I found another bike shop which said they would fix it for us straight away because it was all for like a charity event and stuff.
Yeah. That's
And
nice of them.
Yeah, at day 5 it rained all non-stop all day. But yeah, bike was tough,
Jesus, man.
really tough.
You did literally take bullet after bullet. That's crazy. But like the fact that you just like press through, just like, yeah, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? Have you ever looked at like stoicism? Because that's quite a stoic
Yeah.
thing. Like I think there's like an old parable, and it's like, I mean, you might have heard it before. It's like this man and his son own a ranch or something like that, and then all the horses run off. Sorry, the horse runs off. Yeah, you've heard this one. Yeah, the horse runs off. Then the all the villagers are like, "Oh, your horse ran off. That must be so bad." He's like, "We'll see." And then the horse comes back with 4 of the horses. Like, "Oh, you've got all these horses. It must be amazing to have all these horses." He's like, "Yeah, we'll see."
Yeah.
And then it's like just continues the stroke of it. It's that attitude of like, "We'll see." Is like, was that just kind of in your head?
It was. I had a few moments. I had a few things to help us do it. Same thing. Accountability. Make it about something else.
Yeah.
I'd raised quite a bit of money for the charity by that point. So the day after the worst day of my life on the bike, where it rained all day, I'd lost my temper with a bus driver because he was nearly touching the back of my wheel and stuff. So I'd had all this going on first 4 days of the bike. It was loads of problems.
Aye.
And I remember I sat there thinking, I've definitely had enough now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call it. And about an hour later, I got a message from a lady called Jane, she's the CEO of the Dragonfly Cancer Trust.
Right.
And the message just said, I think it was she sent us a video message and then another message. Basically said, you're doing amazing. Everybody's so proud of you. Do you mind if I send you a video from a mother who lost her daughter last year? Because the Dragonfly Cancer Trust basically supports like young cancer patients. But they're in sort of palliative care, so the end of life care.
Yeah.
So I said, yeah, if it'd be amazing, send it through. And I just thought, yeah, like I'm whinging about having a bit of a bike crash and a few mechanicals and the shit weather, and I just thought, just crack on.
Yeah. That must have put things in a strange perspective for you.
Puts everything into perspective when you think you've got problems, but you haven't really.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh,
So,
I love that, mate. I love that. That's what got you through, mate. I love
yeah.
that. So I want to talk about your most recent one, your most recent world record attempt. So it was a 4,800 miles. Is that right?
Yeah, that was the original distance.
Yeah. So obviously, when we were originally gonna do this podcast, you were in the middle of it, and we were trying to like work around your schedule and stuff. But so obviously, what sort of happened with that? I tell you what. First of all, what spark of genius or madness made you want to do that length of a?
So I fancied another world record. I fancied another triathlon world record.
One that Steve couldn't beat.
So the record was the world's longest triathlon, but this was rested. So you were allowed to have a rest in between days. So I was go to bed and sleep and stuff. So, but it had to be continuous days. And I think you were right with the distance. The distance in mileage was about 4,800 miles.
Yeah.
And that was split between obviously cycling, running, and swimming. You could do it in any order. But once you started one discipline, you had to finish it. So if you started the run, you had to do the whole run.
You couldn't do like run, swim, back to run, yeah.
Yeah, so, and then if you started the bike after that, you had to finish the bike and then the swim. So my thinking was, if I do the run first, that'll be the worst. If I get that out of the way, it'll not be plain sailing, but there's more chance of completing it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's the challenge was that in essence that was the challenge, and I think the original world record, the world record was 4,600 miles. So I put another 200 on it.
Just because that's you, Ian. Yeah.
Yeah. So I started the run on the 1st of February. So again, I had a strategy for the run. I had a game plan. So we would split the run down into I wanted to beat the time as well, so I wanted to do it faster than he'd done it.
Yeah.
So I had to sort of break it all down into how many miles a day I would have to run over how many days. We planned a couple of lighter days in there. They were like recovery days, so it might only be like a 10k run that day.
Yeah.
But it averaged sort of 30 to 40 kilometres a day. So the weekend I might do like a bigger day, maybe it's a 40k, which is like a marathon on a Saturday, and then maybe it's the same on a Sunday. But during the week it was about roughly 30-ish kilometres. And I can't remember when I spoke to you, but I was
I think it
very
was like Marchish, I think, maybe. Something
yeah. I'm bad at remembering the distances,
mm-hmm.
but the run was about 900 miles in total. But I was very near the end,
Mm-hmm.
and Jane from the Dragonfly Cancer Trust again rang us up and she said, have you checked your distances? I said, yeah, my distances are fine. She's like, but have you checked the Guinness website? She said, I might be wrong, but I think somebody might have beaten the record that you're trying to beat.
Oh.
And I was like, all right. She said, but I might be looking at the wrong record.
Right.
I said, right, I'll have a look. So sure enough, I went on the Guinness website, and in the period between me planning this record, because it's quite a long process,
Yeah.
and starting it, I'd never checked the Guinness website, and somebody'd beaten the record.
Oh.
And I was hoping, I was like, well, hopefully they've only beat it by like 100 miles, and mine's still longer. But they beat it by 1,200 miles. So
Fuck.
I was like, oh my God. So it added about another 300 miles onto the run. Obviously,
Jesus.
they beat it by 1,200 miles, but you'd have to split that into run, cycle, and swim.
Yeah.
So I think it added 300 miles onto my run, about 800, whatever it was on the bike, and then the swim. I can't remember the distances, but it was a lot anyway.
Did you find out that person who it was, and then just go and
Yeah, I found him alive. He lives in Italy though, so I was there too far away.
Time to go on holiday to Italy.
Yeah. So I was nearly finished. I thought I was nearly finished the run, and I had to add another 300 miles on.
Oh.
So
What did that must have just been like a kick in the balls.
yeah, I was wounded. I had a bit of a wobbler.
Yeah.
I was lying in bed on a Saturday morning. I just said to Jill, I was like, I'm not doing it. It's ridiculous.
That is yeah.
I'm not doing it.
Jesus.
And she was saying, yeah, just go and do it. You can't stop now.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not doing it. I've had enough. Having a proper teenager sort of.
Man, honestly, don't blame you. At this point, don't blame you. You're allowed a wobbler.
And she said was, she said those two, meaning me two boys. She said they're reading the Guinness Book of Records, and they think you're going to be in there next year.
Mm.
And I just jumped out of bed, got my clothes on. I was like, right, come on, and let's go.
Nice.
So again, accountability, leverage. She put it on.
Nice. I like that. That she was like, they think you're going to be in the books. Oh, fuck, now I've got to do it.
I think I just rolled my eyes, went, right, okay.
I can't believe you like, Jill, for God's sake. So why stop then?
So I finished the run, and amazingly I got stronger throughout the run. So I was getting fitter. My runs were getting a little bit quicker. My body had sort of adapted, and I was really confident. I was like, this is great, but I knew that I would have to have a transition onto the bike, so I hadn't done any biking for a long time. Yeah. Totally different body position, completely different. First day on the bike, I did a 60 miler in the morning. Felt okay. I did another day on the bike, I did 60 miles, because that was me. To ease us into the bike, it was 60 miles. Yeah. A day. Just to ease you in. Sorry. And then day 3, jumped on the bike, and I was getting a lot of aching in my lower back. I think I managed about 6 miles. I couldn't stand it. It wasn't the type of pain where I've had in the past where I've just been like, yeah, I can push through that. Yeah. It was like a severe ache. So I came back in. Just said I've had to pack it in. Not pack the challenge in. I've had to stop. I need to get this back looked at. Yeah. And I tried again the next day. I couldn't even do a couple of minutes on the bike. And then I went to physio on that day, and he's got the ultrasound stuff, so he couldn't see anything because there was that much swelling around my lower back. Jesus. So I just said, could I potentially do myself some harm here? And he was like, yes. Depends what it is. It could be a bulging disc, could be anything. Yeah. So I made the decision that it wasn't worth damaging me back to carry on, because it was a 2.5 month bike. Yeah. No, I agree with you there. But when it comes to your back, though, you cannot risk it at all. Yeah. So, yeah, I was devastated. like really devastated, because obviously I put all the training in.
Yeah.
I've done two and a bit months done all that running, raised money for the charity and all that stuff. And it's really hard. It's the first time I've ever like failed a fitness challenge that upset myself.
But I think with this, though, you didn't fail because you gave up. You failed. Well, I mean, I would, to be fair, I don't even like to use the word fail for this, because I don't think you failed. I think it was one of those things that was so out of your control, and it's like you wouldn't be able to help anyone if your back's completely gone, you know?
But I set myself these challenges, and I'll continue to do so, and that's part and parcel of. There's never a guarantee you're gonna. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
And there was loads of lessons, loads of positives, and but overall it was a good experience.
Yeah. Do you think you'll attempt this one again?
I didn't, but possibly.
How is
but
it?
I would do it different.
Yeah. How's your back at the minute?
It's not bad. If I sit down and lean forward, I get that ache. So there's something needs sorting out.
Have you had it looked at since that doctor's appointment?
I've been back, yeah, but it was still like swelling around the lower back. So
I bet there was still part of your mind that when he told you that you could do yourself harm, you were still like, how much harm? Like,
was I?
Could I still do it?
I was thinking, just see what happens.
Like when you say harm, like, am I going to be paralyzed, or am I just going to have a little bit of an ache? Like, what is it? Yeah.
I'm no good to anybody with a ruined back, so
no.
So it wasn't worth it. But yeah, it was just disappointing, but lots of lessons, loads of really good experiences.
Yeah.
We really got some traction going with the charity, raised a bit of money, and yeah, it was good.
Well, I said at the beginning you currently raise over 16,000. That must be higher by now, because I think I was an old start.
It will have been 16,000. I did think the first two challenges did about 8,000 each.
Yeah, because I think I took that stat from when you did the talk for us at TST. So that was what, 3 years ago, 2-3 years ago. So I'm guessing a lot more since then. So
it will be more, yeah. And also like the ripple effect. When I did my first challenge, the world record, there was a guy picked it up because Lad Bible picked it up and put it on Lad Bible Instagram, and we got a really good sponsor from that. A guy from works down in London, and he's donated a substantial amount of money over the last few years to the charity.
Nice.
So it's had the stuff that I've done for the charity's had a huge ripple effect as well.
Yeah. Well, the more you spread about it, the more people know about it, the more people can donate. Yeah, absolutely.
And there's people sign up for the Great North Run, and so it's been a good experience. And I'll continue to set myself some.
Yeah. Although you're a Terminator, mate, you're also a bit of a hero as well at the same time. Yes.
I just enjoy it. Just enjoy doing it. It's sort of it's a bit of giving back for me.
Yeah. No, you're a good man, mate. I cannot fault you there. But I'm curious, just as my last few questions here, as you're not the average UK dad, let's put it that way, right? I'm just curious, like, when you think about your kids and stuff, what sort of influence do you hope that you have on them? What sort of light do you hope that they see you in?
I'd love to give them. Let's have a think. I'd like them to think that they can, like, aim big and go for it.
Mm-hmm.
Like what I do. But I don't feel like I could tell them to do so if I wasn't doing that anyway.
Yeah, you want to lead by example.
I'd rather show them than just tell them.
Mm.
So I'd like to think I'm showing them that, you know, you can achieve more than what you believe. But
yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I like to think I'm showing them as opposed to telling them.
Yeah, well, kids normally, yeah, I was going to say kids definitely watch.
The thing with kids is, you've just said it, yeah, like they watch everything.
Mm-hmm.
They might not say it at the time, but it's all sinking in.
Mm-hmm. Are you going to take them on runs with you and stuff in future?
They love it. Like, they love running, they love swimming, they love cycling, and I like to think that the fact I've done all this has been like quite a big contributing factor to all that.
Yeah.
They love being outdoors.
I wonder if there's like a world record for doing something like that with kids as well.
Possibly.
Yeah, like a family triathlon. Yeah, would you get involved with that as well?
She doesn't mind cycling and running, but she's not a swimmer.
Maybe you can look at that, mate. The family one. Maybe that's the first time a family's ever done. Yeah. Go back for the 4,800 mile one with the family as well. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, the kids. I mean, we're doing like little kids journal with them and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I just like to think I'm teaching them sort of tools and techniques that they can take into their life, really.
Oh yeah, mate. I'd be proud to have you as my dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Yeah, you're awesome.
And they love it. Like, they love the world record stuff.
Yeah. Well, my
Aye.
dad's famous. Yeah. My dad's in the Guinness Book of World Records. Yeah.
Aye. It does keep us going.
Yeah, 100%. When it comes to sort of overcoming all these challenges that you've been through, pushing through, obviously this relentless mindset, if you were to give a piece of advice to people listening on how to get through all these challenges, how to push through when they're maybe not in the best mental state, like what's your advice to them?
Change your environment. I think and I don't think you can trump environment. So whatever you need to do, whatever it is you want, your goal is, whether it's business, property, mindset, fitness, you need to get around people who are going to support you, push you, and guide you through to where you want to go.
Yeah.
Well, that means getting out of your environment. It goes, go back to boxing. That first time when I went into the boxing gym, it was I felt like I didn't belong there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you want to feel when you go into somewhere like that, because that means you need to be there.
Yeah. Well, success in anything is uncomfortable. I think if you feel uncomfortable, you're kind of doing something right.
Get yourself out your comfort zone.
Yeah.
You need to go places, whether it's clubs, events, places like what Luke has here.
Mm-hmm.
And if you feel like you're not, you're the worst person in that room, like that means it's the right room for you to be in.
Yeah.
You've got to change your environment. You've got to get yourself around a different peer group, like I say, who's going to hold you to a standard.
Yeah.
That would be that's my biggest thing.
Yeah. Get around the right people. Find your tribe, guys. Find your tribe. Is there a specific quote or mantra that sort of plays in your head? That's any of your favorite sort of things that you maybe try and live your life by? Maybe it's just something that you could sum up in like a nice fancy quote.
I'm going to disappoint you here. I probably don't.
That's okay. That's not a disappointment. I was just curious if there was one that sticks in your head.
No, I like them. I like reading them on Facebook and stuff. But there's not one. I wouldn't say there was one that I've got.
Okay, fair enough. Well, funny enough, my last question is something that I'm gonna start bringing into the podcast moving forward, because obviously I like to get people on here to talk about the stories.
Yeah.
The whole point is, I see the people that come on here as above average people who are doing more than what the average person does, more than they were ever had any right to. They've pushed out the comfort zone, they've done more. But one thing I'm curious about is, do you see yourself as a successful man? And you can take a second on this, because I debate this with myself as well. I'm just curious how you see yourself.
No. I always think I always feel like there's room for improvement.
Mm-hmm.
And I always want to feel like I'm progressing.
Mm-hmm.
So I never think there's any sort of end point where you'd say, right, I'm successful now. No, I wouldn't. I would never say that I'm successful. I believe I've had successes, but I've also had loads of failures as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's just the way it is. You're always going to have successes and failures and challenges.
Yeah.
But I like to view it more as I'm always trying to make progress in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah. No, I like that. I mean, with success, I mean, obviously there's different people look at success in different ways. Like, people measure success in different ways. It's one of those things that I've been toying with in my own head, because I'm like, do I consider myself a success, and do these people that come on this podcast ever think I'm a success? But
yeah,
for me, I'm like, I don't know whether it means success is an end point, or whether you can be currently a success and still carry on being that. It's like, I'm toying with that in my head. It is a
strange one, actually. I think because people from the outside might view you as a success.
Yeah.
But from like where I'm at, I always just think, well, I've had my successes, I've had my failures.
Mm-hmm.
It is a.
I don't think you can have success without failures.
No, you can't.
Personally, I don't. If someone's gone from success, I think there's something wrong. Yeah, you're playing too small. Yeah. If you know how to get to the goal most of the time,
Yeah.
it's too small a goal.
And that's the other thing as well, yeah. I always set myself goals that I feel like I'm not I couldn't achieve right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's about who, for me, it's more about who you become while you're trying to achieve it. It's not even about it's not necessarily about achieving that goal. If you set yourself a big goal that you feel like it's unachievable for you at that point in time, and you set yourself up properly, your accountability, your strategy, and all that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you achieve that goal or not, by the time you get to a certain point, you're a different person.
Oh yeah.
You become a different person.
You know what's funny? It sounds so cliche to say, doesn't it?
It
Sounds really. It's not about it's not about the destination, it's about the journey and all that
yeah.
stuff. But it's like it actually is in a weird way.
But who do you need to become?
Yeah.
Like do you need to become the person who has a better diet, who goes to bed earlier? You know, it is about that.
Yeah, I 100% agree, mate. So, where can people follow your journey? Where can people find you if they want to send you messages of good luck? Where can people follow you?
I'm probably I use Facebook more than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Just Ian Lambert. Ian Lambert 5 on Instagram. I'm not massive on Instagram, but I'm on there. So yeah, Facebook and Instagram is where you would find us if you want to find out what I'm doing next in July. Hopefully.
Amazing. Yeah, I'm excited. We'll bring you back on once you do your next.
Yeah, definitely.
You'll be like, you know what? I'm gonna run like to the other side of the world. Have you seen that dude? That's just ran to the other side of it. Was it Africa or something?
That's mental. Yeah.
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 Just beat it. Just do Africa and then just like a tiny bit beyond just to beat him.
Yeah. You need a job before you got kids, don't you?
Yeah, well, maybe. Just bring them with you. It's fine. Like, right, kids. This weekend we're gonna run the length of Africa.
Yeah. No, it was amazing. That I love all that.
Yeah, it's amazing to watch, and I actually think you could probably do something.
It's inspiring.
As big as that.
I love being inspired by other people.
Yeah. Is there anyone that's like really a really big inspiration to you?
No, I'm inspired by loads of different people. Even if it's, I'm part of Paul Mort's group. Even if it's somebody who's lost loads of weight.
Yeah.
You know, or they've gone from like couch to 5k, couch to 10k. I love it all.
Just anyone doing anything.
Anyone doing anything to better themselves. That's why I helped Steve with the world record. I'd help anybody doing anything like that.
Yeah.
Because I'm inspired by that.
Yeah.
And that helps me.
Nice, man. I love it. Well, thank you very much for listening, guys. As always, please leave us the 5-star review. No 4 stars, isn't that right, Ian? No 4 stars.
No 4 stars,
it's
please.
all about the 5-star reviews. Thank you very much, guys. And be sure to check out everything that Ian does. Follow him on all the socials as well. Because one day he will be famous and be on the cover of the Guinness World Records as well. And maybe he'll even consider himself a success then. So thank you very much for listening, guys. I will see you all in the next episode.